Hey, what's up, everyone? Uh, I was thinking about something today, and I figured I'd kind of share my thoughts with you guys. As some of you know, if you watch my videos, I just picked up this Spyderco the other day, and just kind of put it with its friend, the Ontario XM Fighter, and the Boker Kalashnikov XXL. I figured I'd rather look at that than my hands. Um, anyway, I'm into knives and guns and lots of other stuff. And if you're into anything, whether it's, knives or, shoes or tools, you probably have a formal or informal list of things that you really like that you'd like to pick up one day. So I was thinking of some knives that, I might want to pick up, like kind of like down on the list. And like the Spyderco, it's my first one. I really enjoy it. And I was thinking of like maybe next one, either getting a Delica or a Matriarch. They look pretty cool, and I have my eye on Kershaw Lucha and Piranha Fingerling. So there's a lot of cool ones. Well, one of the other knives I had my eye on, I forget the name of it. I think it might be like the Hidden Canyon or something by Benchmade. At any rate, it's about a 2.5 inch fixed blade, wood handle, and has an absolutely awesome, very well done leather sheath. It's a great, looks like a great knife to use and very good quality. But I can't bring myself to buy it. And the reason is about 2.5 years ago, you might remember this, about 2.5 years ago, um, a police department in Oregon posted a picture of a Benchmade worker chopping firearms into little pieces. And the police department thanked the company for, always assisting the police with this great civic task of destroying firearms and chopping them into little pieces so that the police can send them off to the incinerator to be melted and then destroyed. Um, well, from what I understand, Benchmade absolutely told the police department, any way we can help you, we'll help you. What they didn't know was that one of the Benchmade employees gave the police permission to take photographs and all that great stuff so they could put it on Facebook. Now, you might not be surprised that people who like knives often like guns and vice versa. Um, a lot of my videos, I do like knives, guns, coins, and I find that a lot of my friends and some acquaintances, if they're into one of those things, they're into the others too, usually. So, not surprisingly, they faced a lot of backlash from this. And so I was kind of ticked off about it at the time, but I wasn't quite as into knives then as I am now. So I kind of went back at it just to look at it again and see if it was as bad as I thought it was 2.5 years ago. And I actually think it's worse. I was reading the article, and there was this interview on a website. I believe it's called Recoil Web, and it was an interview with someone from the company. And they had stated that they had done this a bunch of times before, and from what I can tell, I don't think they saw much wrong with it. And they said that, they're not going to do it anymore, but they're not going to do it anymore not because they realize the error of their ways, but because they got caught, and a lot of their customers think it's a really crappy thing to do. They offered tacit approval for the Second Amendment, and said, "Oh yeah, I know, Second Amendment's really important, and the right to bear arms." And of course, being a knife company, they more or less focused on knives, and kind of tried to poo-poo the whole gun angle. Which, I mean, yeah, they're both arms, and they both should be protected, but the whole subject was really about guns, and I don't see as much campaigning or liberals pushing to ban knives as I do see them banning guns. I mean, I guess they'll probably go after the guns and the knives, but that's another story. It really seemed like Benchmade was really angry that they got caught. They were trying to say some of the right things, but even in trying to say some of the right things, their tone didn't seem like it was really one of somebody who was realized that what they did could be kind of crappy and wrong. It's more or less of somebody who got caught doing something that they didn't think was that bad, but they're not gonna do it anymore just because they don't want to anger people and possibly lose sales. And then they would try and distract by throwing out the knife decoys, saying, well, we're fighting for knife rights. Well, they probably are fighting for knife rights, but probably solely for their bottom dollar. They don't care about guns. They don't make guns. And, you know, a lot of those firearms, I don't know if those firearms came from gun buybacks or whatnot. From the video, it seemed like some of those guns came from people who, like, let's say, might have had an old gun in their house, or maybe they inherited one, and they were afraid of the big bad gun, so they took it to the police department, and they asked the police to take care of it. In other cases, it might have been people who had them confiscated because they committed a crime. Now, in some cities and towns, they do the smart thing, and what they do is they take their confiscated weapons and they auction them off, and then they do stuff with the money, like, I don't know, provide funding for the police department, provide funding for other city services. Maybe they give it to charity. I don't know. I really don't care what they do with the money, to be honest with you. What I do care about is when people are glorifying the destruction of firearms, further feeding into this this basically liberal storyline of how terrible and awful they are and how they're getting taken off the street, and then most of all, reducing the supply and doing it with glee. Because even though we have 400 or 500 million firearms by varying measures in the United States, every one that's taken off the market by somebody chopping it up or helping to chop it up reduces the supply. And that puts pressure on prices up. Now, okay, granted, 5 or 6 or 7 firearms isn't going to make a big deal. And you know what? Some of these might have been Grandpa's 1931 side-by-side that's kind of rusted out. But you know what? They're all firearms. I bet a whole lot of them are functional, at least to some degree, and a lot of them probably could have been brought back pretty nicely. Like I said, it all kind of feeds into the whole, let's get as many as we can off the street and make ourselves look good doing it. And Benchmade played right into it. I think it's really disgusting, and I gotta tell you, like when I see a nice Benchmade knife, that just kind of pops right up. You know, it's kind of like you see a pretty girl from the left side, and all of a sudden she turns around from the right side, and she's got these warts all over her face. Benchmade is full of warts. I couldn't buy a thing from them. I really couldn't. Now they're not going to care. I don't have a Benchmade knife. If I were not so disgusted with the company, maybe I'd buy 1 or 2 a year. Over 20 years, that might be 20 or 40 Benchmade knives. Even that, what's that going to matter to them? They make millions and millions and millions of dollars. They don't care. My hope is that more people will care, and that they will spend their dollars at companies like, you know, fill in the blank, Microtech, Chris Reeve, Spyderco, Kershaw, wherever. I don't care whether it's a company that sells less expensive ones, like, you know, the Gerbers and the Kershaw bunches and the CRKTs, or some of the, you know, the pricier knife brands like Chris Reeve and Hinderer and some of those companies. So like I said, I just kind of wanted to vocalize that disgust I have with their company in basically helping to destroy firearms and then trying to hide it, and then being disgusted and angered that they were found out. So, you know, we kind of, you know, took the sheep's clothing off the wolf. Well, we did, actually. The police that they were helping did, which is kind of entertaining, I think. But I just wanted to kind of share that with you and think out loud. Like I said, if you either value this video or you would kind of think, yeah, I wouldn't want to buy another Benchmade either, whether you have them or not, hit the like button. I'd appreciate it. Talk to you later.